Hi, my name is Laura Flanagan, and this presentation is about menopause, energy, and mood, and how we can control those things through functional nutrition. Let food be thy medicine, as Hippocrates said. I am a functional nutrition educator and counselor, and I hope you enjoy this presentation. How many of you have experienced this? This, I think, is a classic sign of menopause. So for this presentation, the agenda will include talking about the science of menopause and energy. We'll talk about cortisol, mitochondria, and mood. And actually not exactly in that order, mitochondria, then cortisol, and how they affect mood. And then functional nutrition, how we can use it for energy and hormone balance. And then we'll talk a little bit about evidence-based supplement and how you can get your hands on those. The takeaways or the goals of this session are to understand energy and mood shifts, to explore cortisol and mitochondria connections, and to learn nutrition and supplemental strategies for resilience. So the first thing that we will take a look at are mitochondria. And mitochondria are all the rage these days in the functional nutrition and in wellness and dietary realms. So if you're paying attention at all, you're starting to see a lot of presentations, a lot of scientific research coming out on mitochondria, not just as they relate to menopause, but just in general, how mitochondria, which are the powerhouses of your cells, how impact our energy. Estrogen's role in supporting mitochondrial function involves neurotransmitter balance and glucose metabolism. Estrogen directly stimulates the mitochondria, which again are the tiny power plants inside each of our cells. They generate ATP, which is how we get our energy. So when estrogen is balanced, our cells produce steady energy, our muscles recover faster, and our brains feel sharp and focused. When we're younger, we have more estrogen, therefore our mitochondrial function is at almost its optimal levels. Also, estrogen has a lot to do with neurotransmitter balance. Estrogen regulates the key mood-related neurotransmitters, such as serotonin. I think we all know what that is. Dopamine, those are your two what I call happy hormones. And GABA, you might not know what GABA is. You might know it because you've heard of gabapentin. GABA is gamma aminobutyric acid. That's a long word. That's why they long couple of words, few words actually, and that's why it's shortened to GABA. So GABA is used to calm the mind. So we're such multitaskers these days that a lot of people are put on GABA supplements to bring the mind to focus, but there are definitely other and more beneficial ways to do so, such as pranayama. Okay, sidebar. But this is why healthy estrogen levels are associated with more stable mood, motivation, and emotional resilience. We can gain those things back. Also, mitochondria are involved in glucose metabolism, estrogen is involved in glucose metabolism. Estrogen improves insulin sensitivity. This helps our cells efficiently use glucose, which is the sugar, for fuel instead of storing it as fat. With less estrogen, blood sugar levels tend to fluctuate, which leads to more energy dips, carb cravings, and of course weight gain, especially around the belly. And this slide just depicts what declining estrogen does in terms of mitochondria. As estrogen declines, of course, during perimenopause and menopause, our mitochondrial efficiency drops significantly. Cells produce less ATP. This means our brain and our muscles literally have less energy to work with. Also, oxidative stress comes into play. It increases because our estrogen is no longer enhancing the antioxidant defenses. So one thing that a lot of us don't really realize is that estrogen has the inherent capability of acting as an antioxidant. It really helps to keep oxidative stress down in our bodies. So obviously, as it starts to decrease, we have more oxidative stress, we experience fatigue, brain fog, and mood swings. And here we can take a look at the vicious sleep cortisol cycle. We have difficulty sleeping during menopause. It's hard to fall asleep. to stay asleep, and that's due to elevated nighttime cortisol. Now, cortisol is one of your stress hormones that is produced by the adrenal glands, not to get too scientific, but our cortisol levels start to become dysregulated in menopause. This is why, of course, we start experiencing hot flashes at night. This also disrupts our sleep. Just disrupted sleep then triggers more menopausal symptoms during the night. Our cortisol starts to spike, and those hot flashes at night cause sharper increases in our cortisol. That elevated cortisol then keeps us alert because cortisol is sort of a hormone that says, okay, it's time to wake up. There's a cortisol curve that we look for, and it should peak midday. It starts to elevate in the morning, and it peaks midday, and then it starts to decline at the end of your day, which is why one of many reasons you get tired by the end of the day. And one of the things that actually dysregulates our cortisol is eating too late in the evening. So if there's anything that you can take away from this, it is to be very careful that you don't eat at least 1 hour before you go to bed, 2 hours ideally. Now let's take a look at the 9 key elements that are involved in weight and body composition as we go through menopause. This first slide depicts the first 3. First is metabolic slowdown. Our BMR decreases by 200 to 300 calories per day. Now, BMR is your basal metabolic rate. That is the metabolic rate that is necessary just to sustain normal standard energy levels throughout our day. Okay, so that does not include like a lot of physical exertion. If you're a marathon runner, of course, your BMR is going to be different, but just the basal metabolic rate that is required to have enough energy just to get through a basic day. So it decreases due to our declining estrogen and muscle loss or sarcopenia. So what the end result is that we can eat the same things and we can gain weight through menopause. A lot of us experience. And then we have fat redistribution begins to happen as well. Fat shifts from the hips to the abdomen. This creates what we call the menopause belly, and this increases our risk for heart disease and diabetes. And then we also have the muscle loss, of course, which amplifies everything. We have accelerated, again, sarcopenia, which simply means muscle loss. This is due to declining estrogen and also human growth hormone, because that decreases as we age as well. Less muscle equates to a slower metabolism, which equates to easier fat gain. And the next 3 mechanisms that are involved in weight and body composition during menopause are insulin resistance, cortisol dysregulation, and appetite and satiety. So with insulin resistance, cells become less insulin sensitive during menopause, which makes it harder to regulate blood sugar. This promotes our midsection fat storage and also induces cravings. Cortisol dysregulation, chronic stress definitely causes cortisol dysregulation. You couple that with hormonal changes and you've got the perfect storm for abdominal fat storage. Cortisol promotes belly fat accumulation. So very few people really want to look at cortisol, but of the 2 things that I focus on most in this talk, mitochondria and cortisol. And then the next one along the line is appetite and satiety. So there are 2 hormones that are involved in our appetite, leptin and ghrelin. Ghrelin is a hormone that is produced in the gut, leptin by the brain, and ghrelin is the one that tells you you're hungry. Ghrelin's the one that tells you need the chocolate cake. It's all about, begging you for more, more, more. It's the craving sort of hormone. Leptin is kind of the police officer saying, no, no, no. Leptin produced in the brain says, no, stop, you're full. You shouldn't be needing any more food. So increased hunger, more carb cravings, and reduced fullness after eating are all things that we experience often during menopause. 3 mechanisms involved in weight and body composition during menopause are sleep disruption, reduced activity, and thyroid function. We already talked a little bit about sleep disruption. Hot flashes and night sweats disrupt the leptin and ghrelin, the hormones we just talked about, and also growth hormone. This increases appetite and fat storage. Also reduced activity. Because we're tired, we don't work out as much. Fatigue, joint pain, and symptoms of decreased movement. It's just a cyclical pattern, right? So we have fewer calories burned and more muscle loss, and that compounds the slowdown. And then thyroid function is the last mechanism. And menopause, it can unmask or worsen thyroid issues that we might already have underlying our health issues. This directly affects metabolism, of course, energy, and weight regulation. So now we are finally at a point in the presentation where we can talk about actions that we can take to mitigate some of the things that we now know are happening to us in terms of menopause. So functional nutrition empowers us to rebalance the hormones naturally, to restore our energy production, and to navigate menopause with clarity, vitality, and strength. There are 6 key steps to success. Those are root cause focus, stabilizing blood sugar, supporting mitochondrial energy, balancing cortisol and adrenal health, enhancing detox and estrogen metabolism, and personalizing a plan for yourself. And we're going to go through each of these in the coming slides. So let's look at the first key to success, and that is root cause. So functional nutrition looks beyond the symptoms like fatigue, hot flashes. It looks deeper to uncover the reason that your energy and hormones are imbalanced. It explores adrenal function, thyroid health, blood sugar, gut microbiome, liver detox pathways, and much, much, much more. All of this is part of functional blood chemistry analysis as well as if you want to go deeper. But you don't even need to go that deep. Just know that with functional nutrition, we look at the root cause as the first step to success. Now we're looking at the second step to success, which is stabilizing blood sugar. When blood sugar is balanced, we have balanced hormones. Consistent protein, fiber, and healthy fats at every meal prevent insulin spikes that then worsen the hot flashes, the mood swings, and the mid-afternoon crashes that we experience. Our third step for success is supporting the mitochondria, thereby supporting our energy. So as we've discussed in a few slides throughout the presentation, estrogen declination slows our ATP production. And so functional nutrition helps to boost mitochondrial efficiency with nutrients like B vitamins, magnesium, coenzyme Q10, antioxidants from all of the colorful whole foods that we have available to us. Now, the fourth step to success is balancing cortisol and adrenal health. We've talked a lot about chronic stress, how it depletes hormones, and in particular, it depletes progesterone, and that worsens estrogen imbalance. And so the things that we can do to counter this are to start to consume adaptogenic herbs. Now, what are adaptogenic herbs? Adaptogens are compounds that reside in plants to help them resist stressors in their environment. And so if you think of it like the cascading event, when plants build their resilience and we eat them, then they help us build our resilience. And that helps me to really bridge the gap between what we're growing, the soil health, and what we're eating. And that's a topic for another day, but it still all plays in. And so just think of adaptogens as compounds within herbs and plants and vegetables that we eat that help them to survive things that happen in their environment. And the next is mindful eating, being mindful about what you're eating, even saying a prayer or doing a mantra over your food before you eat it. Just being grateful for your food before you eat it makes a big difference. Rest, of course, is an important part of balancing cortisol and adrenal health. Getting a lot of good sleep and proper sleep is important. And then, of course, proper nourishment, which is part of the functional nutrition protocols that we have. Now, all of those help to restore adrenal rhythm and resilience. The fifth step is enhancing our detoxification and our estrogen metabolism. So a healthy liver and gut microbiome help to clear the used estrogens and all the toxins that accumulate in the body. Cruciferous vegetables, fermented foods, adequate hydration, all of these things support efficient hormone detoxification, super important for optimizing our health. The sixth and final, and probably the most important step in the process, is to personalize a plan for yourself. This becomes incredibly powerful, especially just absorbing everything you learned from this webinar and taking it and running with it and doing what you want to do with it. You don't have to do anything with me. You can find practitioners. You can, use your own knowledge to explore more, research more, create a plan. Usually 3 months is very good. That's why my programs are 3 months, because after 3 months, 90 days, you've created a lifestyle for yourself. Within 2 weeks, you create habits, and that you'll do with me if you do decide to do my program. And after 2 weeks, if you continue, by the end of 3 months, you will have created a lifestyle for yourself. So it goes beyond becoming habitual. Good habits form after 21 days to becoming a lifestyle. Lifestyle is different than habits. Okay, so functional nutrition, when we look at how we use it ideally by measuring. So you can't change what you can't measure. So one of the things that I offer is the potential to measure where you are as a reference point in your blood chemistry analysis and how you change over time. So we can do time points. With a 3-month program, it's only 2 time points, of course, when you begin, and then at the end of 3 months, so that we can check and compare the blood chemistry analysis. So this becomes very, very powerful in terms of resetting everything and getting on a new path, but it's not for everyone. So you can take this, as I said, and do a number of things with it. Take this webinar, research everything I've discussed, and apply it to what works for you in your lifestyle. It doesn't matter to me. I'm not trying to promote my functional nutrition programs. I just want for people to understand what is happening with menopause and how they can manage the symptoms, because it's really about the symptoms, not about what menopause is, right? So, and then there are also a lot of supplements that you can use to help mitigate some of the symptoms, and we're going to be talking about those in the next couple of slides. Okay, so now hopefully you are armed with a lot of information. That was a big download about menopause and what causes some of the symptoms. Now let's get to the important part. What can you do about it? So obviously functional nutrition is the key here in terms of natural ways to mitigate the symptoms, and we do that through food, natural food sources, natural, fresh, organic. That's obviously the best way, but let's face it, sometimes life gets crazy, we skip meals. It's really difficult to be sure that we're getting the nutrients that we need just to survive, must mitigate the symptoms of menopause. This is where Fullscript comes in. This is where the supplement company Fullscript can hopefully be beneficial for you. Fullscript is a dispensary that I have access to through both of my worlds, both of my trainings. One was through the functional nutrition program that I did with Andrea Nakayama. And then also, and more recently, Dr. Dickon Weatherby, who I have my functional blood chemistry analysis education through, he also suggests this dispensary. And incidentally and fortuitously, the Fullscript dispensary is linked to the Optimal DX site. So when you work with me, if you decide to work with me, and we do functional blood chemistry analysis. Automatically, FullScript is integrated in with their system, and so I will get recommendations through that platform, which is really quite awesome for me. And you can see the link in the following slides. You'll see the link down below, my link to the dispensary. It's in all of the slides following that where we're talking about the supplements. So you can go there and search around and see what's available to you, not just for menopause, but just these are good quality supplements. These, as I've said, this dispensary has been vetted through both of my teachers. It also ensures that these supplements have been manufactured by GMP. That's important. Whenever you buy supplements, regardless of who you're getting them from, you should check the back of the bottle and for the information and see if they have been GMP manufactured. GMP stands for Good Manufacturing Practices. What that means is it's ensuring that there are quality standards, certain quality standards that are met. These are, as you probably know, most supplements are not FDA regulated, but if they are manufactured by GMP, ensured certain quality standards, not the least of which is that they do not contain fillers, and that's important when it comes to the supplement world, the non-regulated, non-FDA regulated supplements. Okay, so hopefully that explains a little bit about FullScript, and if you go to that link and get yourself signed up to my FullScript account, then you'll be there. You'll be able to order pretty readily any number of supplements that will be recommended for any health issue, not just menopause. And as my client, you get 10% off. Oh, stole my thunder of one of the last slides, but oh well, it's important that you know that. I've done some homework for you. I've done some research. And so I want to now review 3 different supplements that are proven effective for menopause, and we'll compare them. So the next few slides, we're going to take a deep dive into 3 of the top-notch menopause supplements that I think you should consider. And it just depends. You'll see how they vary. And the last slide is an actual comparative analysis of those 3, so that if you are undecided and you are looking for something, hopefully this information following will be helpful. The first supplement that we'll take a look at is from Vital. Vital Nutrients is the company, and Menopause Support is the formula. This formula is designed specifically to support us through and during menopause. It includes a blend of all natural herbs that are commonly used for hot flashes, mood changes, and other menopausal symptoms. For each of the 3 supplements, I have done some homework for you. I've taken a look at the supplement facts on the back side of the bottle, and I have extracted the ingredients and created some tables to show what these specific ingredients do. What are they doing? What are they known for? What's the traditional use? And then what does the research suggest in terms of menopause? And then the key pros, in other words, what it might help with. So you can take a look at this table at your leisure. I won't go through one by one, but you can see in this first supplement that we're reviewing here, Vital Nutrient Menopause Support, it has 8 different ingredients, and you can take a look and just review this. And at the end of reviewing the 3 supplements that are recommended for menopause, I have pulled together a summary comparative table. The second supplement to take a look at is called Menovibe by Pure Encapsulations. I like this one because it's a modern adaptogenic and phytoestrogenic menopause support supplement. It blends stress adaptogens. We spoke about those earlier in the talk, from plants like ashwagandha, rhodiola, and maca. It combines those adaptogens with plant-based hormone modulators. HMR lignin is a trademarked modulator, as is lifonol hops. But then there's also resveratrol in there, and you might be familiar with that. Resveratrol is a compound found in red wine, and is thought to be sort of a magical anti-aging hormone modulator. I know there was a time back many years ago where women were looking at drinking red wine because of its anti-aging effects. I don't know. You got to balance those with some of the other negative effects, though. And when you can get it in a supplement like this that has been vetted, it's of course going to be much better for you. And just like the previous supplement, this slide shows the different ingredients from the Menovibe. And there are 8, as I mentioned earlier, and what their functions are, how it supports us in menopause, and then some of the research and considerations. So take a look at this table whenever you have a moment and review it, and you can compare it to the table of the first product. For this Menovive product, I've been able to kind of categorize some of the ingredients that will hopefully help you understand a little bit better. It was easy for me to do with this product. So there are certain of the ingredients that we can lump into the categories and what they impact. So for instance, in the category of hot flashes and night sweats, we have the HMR lignin, liphenol, hops, and the maca. Of course, the benefits are that we have fewer and less hot flashes, less intense hot flashes, and along those lines, of course, better thermoregulation. The next category is mood and stress resilience, whereby ashwagandha, rhodiola, and maca will be important. They reduce anxiety, provide better sleep, and more stable energy. The third category is cognition and cognitive clarity and fatigue, where rhodiola, resveratrol, and grapeseed will be helpful. You'll have less brain fog, better focus, and endurance. The next category is hormone balance. And the ingredients that are involved here are gentle phytoestrogenic compounds. The HMR lignin again, the liphenol, and resveratrol. Together, all of those create hormone balance. They support mild estrogen receptor activity without hormone replacement therapy. And then the last category is skin and cardiovascular and antioxidant support. The grapeseed and resveratrol are important in that category. And this helps to improve circulation, collagen production, and oxidative. Last, but certainly not least, on the list of 3 possible supplements for menopausal support is Biofem Transition. Now, I like this one because it's a hybrid type of menopause support supplement. It combines bioidentical hormone precursors, DHEA, and pregnenolone with botanical phytoestrogens and adaptogens to support the transition through perimenopause and menopause. Biofem Transition bridges the gap between herbal and hormonal menopause support. I really like this one. I think that of all of the ones that I would recommend, it tops my list, but it depends on, of course, several factors, which we'll take a look at. It's essentially a mini precursor formula that's enhanced by traditional herbs, and so this is why I really like this one. Now, this table summarizes and compares the 3 different supplements that we've taken a look at. And is broken basically into 2 categories, the focus of the supplement and the strengths. So the first supplement is the Vital Nutrients Menopause Support. Its focus is herbal phytoestrogenic, and it helps with hot flashes, sweats, and PMS type symptoms. The second one we looked at is the Menovibe. Its focus is stress and mood. It's adaptogenic, and this helps with energy, sleep, mood, and cognition. And the third and final was the Biofem Transition. Its focus is hormonal and herbal, and its strengths are that it's a hormonal precursor, helps with libido, and it has deeper systemic support. So hopefully a look into 3 possible supplements, all quite different, have given you some insights into how you can manage menopausal symptoms through supplements. And of course, as mentioned in several slides, I have a dispensary through FullScript. And through my dispensary, if you sign up with that dispensary, you receive a 10% discount. And that's on any product throughout. It doesn't have to be just menopausal supplements. There are many health supplements for many different issues through the dispensary. Almost anything that you're getting through any other supplement company, you can get through FullScript. And again, FullScript is fully vetted and GMP manufactured. They do not sell any products that are not already GMP certified. And you can also get auto ship. I know that it's convenient. You don't have to remember to order. If you get it on auto ship, you can have your supplements delivered automatically to your door every month, every few months, every 6 months, however you would like to have that done. And again, my link is here, so you can snag that, pop it into a browser, and then take a look around and see what supplements are available. Now, what's next? What are your next steps? So one thing to consider is the 3-month functional nutrition program, transformation program, and that's coming up. I will likely launch that at the end of October, early November. Now, there are 2 program options with this. There are 3 months in length. One is the core and one is premium. Now, the core is for clients who want extra nutrition support and lifestyle coaching, but they're not maybe necessarily interested in the blood lab testing. What's included in that are weekly one-on-one private nutrition sessions with me. They're 1 hour in length. And then also bi-monthly webinars where we do deep dives into everything that's involved with functional nutrition. Those are always a lot of fun if you are interested in group support. And then also you get personalized food, supplement, and lifestyle plan, email support, of course, between sessions, to a resource library. And of course, as I mentioned, the thing that's missing is the functional blood chemistry analysis. The core price point is $1,200, but those who've attended the webinar, or if you're watching this, you get a 10% discount. Now, the premium is for clients who want a data-driven plan with functional blood chemistry analysis. So it's everything that you have that's included in the core program, but also you get the blood biomarker analysis, you get a pre-lab preparation, you get a lab interpretation session where I go one-on-one with you, and we look at all your biomarkers. I explain, how the importance of that report that comes out. And also within the functional blood chemistry analysis, you get a health improvement plan, which is really quite nice. And then you get the FBCA at the beginning. We'll do blood chemistry analysis at the beginning of the 3-month period and then at the end, so that you have some comparison to see what kind of transformation you have made. That's really remarkable to be able to see the improvements through your blood chemistry. So those are the 2 program options. As I said, watch your email for the announcement for launching of those programs. I can only take 6 people maximum. So if you're thinking about it, you'll have time to consider it, but you won't want to wait. When the registration comes out, you'll want to jump on that as soon as you can. And I have a surprise gift for you. So you'll be receiving your gift by email very soon, just for attending this webinar. Okay, I know you're wondering, what is the gift? So here's a little sneak preview. Your free gift is an e-cookbook. So it's the Menopause cookbook, and it is divided into 3 sections. The first one focusing just on basic menopause recipes for general symptoms of menopause. And then there are 2 other sections. One is for recipes that support mitochondrial health. And the 3rd section involves recipes to help balance cortisol. Here's another little sneak preview of one of the pages in the cookbook. And this is the eating principles for menopause. So you can take a look at that. And then following this slide, I am just to give you something to take away right away. I have a couple of recipes that I hope that you will enjoy. Try them out. Let me know how they work for you. And of course, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. You can reach me at email at socratescenter21@gmail.com, or on WhatsApp if you use WhatsApp at my Costa Rica number, +506 8375 8498. I hope you enjoyed this presentation, and thank you so much for your attention.